Yo, what up, Street Dogs? Alright, this is a thought about conquering fears. So, I'm just gonna give you guys just some practical ideas, tips, thoughts, and strategies on how to conquer your own personal fears in life. So, first and foremost, we gotta learn to have a contempt towards death. Death is nothing to us because once we're dead, we ain't gonna feel nothing no more. And also, even if your upcoming death is gonna be painful, you're strong enough to withstand the pain. So right now I think social stigma is less important now than ever. Meaning, like if somebody sneers at you or disapproves of you or criticizes you, whatever, it's really not a big deal right now. And also, what are we fearful of? I think the biggest fear is social fear. We're fearful that others are going to criticize us, stigmatize us, whatever. But in today's brave new world where you're not going to starve to death, I think choosing a life of like some sort of like pseudo voluntary poverty is a good one. Not to be like being poor is a good thing, but just more of like becoming a badass. Become like Boba Fett or the Mandalorian, where you imagine yourself kind of like a rogue bounty hunter type character where money isn't the impetus of your life and you don't really care for what other people think about you. What you're interested in is personally thriving however you define that and not letting society or others judge you in a way that you don't really accord yourself. So that's one thing. I think another thing too to conquer your fears is I think some of us are just fearful of being an asshole. Some of us are fearful of offending others. Some of us are afraid of saying something that's not nice or something like that. And so I think a huge thing we need to also conquer is conquer ethics. We need to conquer ethics, morality, religion, spirituality, whatever. Because generally this tends to be a fetter on our freedom where we don't say what we really think because we're afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. But now that everyone's stuck at home anyways, and now that we're not really interacting face to face with nobody no more, you don't really got much to fear. Also, some things that I know that just become like physically stronger. So take cold showers, stop taking hot showers. This is a good way to put some sort of hair on your chest. Do intense workouts, intermittent fast throughout the day, cut out sugar or alcohol, drugs, weed, and stuff like that. I mean, the things in themselves is not a bad thing necessarily, but the only downside is that I think it just kind of weakens you and it makes you less strong and resilient. So it's just more of like a downside from a physiological perspective where it's more of a depressant than a stimulant. And also simple things like drink more coffee. And also just kind of realizing that, you only got one life to live. This is your life. And think of yourself on your deathbed at the age of 90 and work your way backwards. Jeff Bezos calls this the regret minimization framework. So essentially you want to live a life where you have zero regrets. Now, how do you live a life with no regrets? My suggestions, it's negative advice. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about social approval. Don't care about what your parents think. Don't care about what your partner, kids, relatives, friends think. And don't be afraid of death. Don't be afraid of pain. And know that you're not living for the present moment, but you're living for all of humanity. And you have a great task in your hands. What you're doing is very important. And how do you get your message across? Very simple. Start a YouTube channel, start uploading videos to it. Start your own website, bluehost.com/wordpress.org. And just write fearlessly, write with courage, audacity. Just say what's on your mind. Don't be politically correct, nothing like that. And know that ultimately the only thing we had to fear is fear of shame, fear of regret, and fear of not really saying what's on our minds, and the fear of censoring ourselves.